Elliot.
Hello.
I'm sure everyone knows ahead of time that this episode is going to be about the RMRs, considering it's the only thing going on.
The what? Oh, shit.
Before we talk about the RMRs, did you know that there was a video on the TLDR YouTube channel that you and I made and uploaded for this last weekend that talks about every team that you should know about that makes the major and also Monty?
Yeah.
So that way you are prepped for the major ahead of time?
It's not our fault Monty was, not there. You know what I mean?
Monty
our fault.
feel like a team that should be there, so therefore they get talked about, okay?
Look, we talked about Alter Ego, and as much as I love Alter Ego, they're clearly not as good as Monty.
It's not like we put Monty in a particularly high spot that I feel really bad.
I talked about them as they're actually sneakily quite good, and they are. Yeah. I don't know how they're not in the RMR. I completely forget. The only team I remember not qualifying that is relevant is Bleed, who don't even exist anymore.
No,
it's the only team I remember them not qualifying because I thought it was really funny.
I think so. I have thought about this in the last couple of days because the video came out. We got comments that were like, "Hey, Monty are not in the RMR," and I was thinking about this, and I think instead of going to the RMR pages, I went to HLTV rankings and just started pulling teams out that I wanted to talk about because I was like, if you're a top 30 team, what's your reason for not being in the RMR? I can't believe why would you not be in the RMR? And so they're sitting at 28, and I was like, oh, you know what? It's worthwhile to talk about them.
Yeah.
And then apparently they didn't make the RMR.
Yeah, I mean that is something we should have checked.
Yeah,
but also
on the other hand, free Monty coverage.
We talked about a lot of teams, and what can you do? It is literally about 2 minutes of a 1 hour and 20 minute video. Yeah. So the other 1 minute and 18 perfectly good, great. I would go as far as say really good.
So if you or a friend don't know what's going on before the major and want to know more information, you can go to the ReTLDR YouTube channel or in the podcast feed on whatever you're listening to right now. Yeah. And you can go back literally one episode, and there will be an hour and 20 minutes of everything you need to know about each team that makes any sense and also Alter Ego going into the major. Yeah,
show it to your friends who haven't been that into Counter-Strike recently. It's perfect for them.
We tried to answer 3 questions. What did they do at the last major? Oh, sorry. What roster moves have they made? What have they done since the last major? And what do we expect from them in this major?
And also, why should I care in some circumstances?
Yeah, why would I care sometimes? And we include most teams that you care about. All right, let's get into the actual RMRs now. And we will start with a disappointment.
Yeah.
The Asian RMR...
Drillers want to get... Oh, sorry.
So the Asian RMR has been all over the place. There's been some high highs. There's been some low lows. Let's start with the high highs. The Mongols are through.
Yep,
to
as
no
expected.
One's... Yeah, as expected. The other team that's through, though, is Rare Atom, which was unexpected.
It shouldn't be that unexpected. Because they are, still... they do have players that we know are good.
Yeah,
they're not completely out there. But...
Let's explain this Rare Atom team, because many people may have taken a couple months off and they don't remember who this Rare Atom team is. And especially if you're taking a couple months off, you really don't know who this team is. Because when Rare Atom finally got, vaguely decent, basically all their players were bought out by Tyloo.
Yeah. Who didn't make the RMR.
Who did not make the RMR. So this Rare Atom team is actually a bunch of players from Tyloo that got removed to be when they bought Rare Atom out. And then just some new players.
Yeah, so this is some really old, when I say players have been around for a while in Asia. Some players who, and then 2 guys probably who have not been around that long but have been discarded by some of the other teams. I'm not 100% sure about Li Hang, but Child King was on Lin Vision, I believe, and he is now on this team.
Li Hang was on Wings Up in 2021.
Wings Up, wow.
Yeah, the old Wings Up roster.
Wings Up, who I think once finished top 4 at an ESL Challenger and then did nothing else ever.
That sounds about right.
So the other three names are Kaze, who, real Counter-Strike heads love and adore Kaze. He's
Tyloo, Cyclone, the original Rare Atom.
Yeah,
Vici.
so he was... Vici Gaming was where everyone fell in love with him, and was it Excurate? Was that him? Was that the same team?
Excurate was on...
Did Excurate replace him? I can't remember.
I don't think Excurate was on that team. Excurate was on...
I might be going mad. Either way, Kaze was on the Vici team that famously beat North, much to my chagrin. But the Vici Gaming team was quite popular, and everyone loved Kaze. He's sort of been around for a while now. Kind of, he's always fine, but not much better than that. Child King's actually quite good. I'm not 100% sure why Linvision got rid of him, and it is one of the best names in Counter-Strike.
Child King is good.
But then, Linvision, to be fair, it was Linvision he was on, right? Or was it Wings Up?
I believe so. He was on Wings Up. No, he was on Wings Up.
Okay, he was on Wings Up.
Wings Up for like 4 years.
He's played for...
They folded in February, so that's where he came from. He's only played for Wings Up. He played for...
Okay, right, so it's Wings Up. Yeah, sorry. So both Child King and Li Hang both came from Wings Up. That's why I knew who they were, because I've seen them play the ESL Challenger where they did well. Both of them are actually... Like, Child King especially is actually half decent. I guess it makes sense if Wings Up don't exist anymore than why he's here. When I've seen him play, he's always looked pretty solid. Somebody has been around.
He's been around for a while.
He's been around for a while. Look, the Asian RMR, you're doing great for nicknames. Some of the best nicknames in the game. I'm a little bit sad that Waste of Ammo isn't here. Really sad.
So the other two players are Somebody and Summer, and we bring them up in conjunction here because they are both long-time Tyloo players. Like Somebody,
these are
2015 to 2022, and Summer was 2018 to 2023, but also 2014 to 2017. Like
these guys played with Captain Mo and B and Tet. These are old school Tyloo heads.
The GOAT Captain Mo.
We love Again, I'll always bring this up whenever we talk about Captain Mo. His name used to be Mo, and then they made him the in-game leader, and he changed his name to Captain Mo. The greatest nickname in Counter-Strike, because it was just Mo, and he became Captain Mo because he was the captain of the team. I just love that so much. He really took it to heart. He wasn't... Being a captain wasn't just what he was, it was who he was.
I love it so
much. He really embodied being a captain so much it became him.
So, this team
Captain Mo isn't on this team for it.
Captain Mo is not on this team.
Let me just bring that up. I just like talking about him.
But this team deserves to get through. Like, let's be very clear. This team is fun.
This team's great.
Absolutely, would have been I think we said it was our third or fourth team to get through. Like, it was absolutely up there for us. But we looked at this and went, it should be Mongols FlyQuest getting through pretty easily. And then this third team's kind of up for grabs. It could be Linvision. It could be Rare Atom. We hope it's not Drillas. We really hope it's Alter Ego. It could have been any of these teams. And Rare Atom showing up and they beat two people. They got through. It wasn't a question.
Their path was made significantly easier. Well, I say significantly made a little bit easier.
So let's talk about the opening round. So here, Mongols, as we said, won the upper bit of the upper bracket. They beat Alter Ego in best of one. Where Alter Ego, let's be very clear here, Alter Ego lost this tournament. They went out 0-2. They did show fight against both Mongols and Linvision.
They actually looked half decent. They're not great, obviously. I mean, they went out on a 13-4 loss, but they won a map against Linvision. They
almost won. The first map was 10-13, the second map was 13-9, and I watched this whole series against Linvision, and I can tell you, eye test wise, they looked okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all you're hoping for with this team, is that they're just not a disaster, and they weren't a disaster, but they are out. Again. They played probably two of the three best teams.
They definitely played the best team.
They definitely played the best team, and they probably played, the second or the third, somewhere between 2 and 4th. It depends how good you think Drillas are.
But it was definitely a reasonable thing here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like not a terrible showing for a team that we kind of expected nothing from, but we hoped for lots.
So Mongols beat Alter Ego in the opener, and then the first upset was Drillas beating Lin Vision 13-11. The only thing I really want to talk about in this game is if you have not watched OniPixel's coach speech for the last round in the game, you should go watch it.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was going to say you should go watch it.
I try and avoid OniPixel as much as possible.
I thought the speech was nice, okay? I thought the speech was
I'm sure it was, but I'm not going to listen to it.
But it came down to one round at the end. So Drillas beat Lin Vision. They then lost to Mongols, as everyone expected.
Yeah. So Drillas took the first map, and it was looking a little dicey, and then Mongols just absolutely like.
Mongols remembered that they're the best Asian team in like 2 years.
They just choke fucked them on map 2 and 3. It was not good.
On the other side of the bracket, Rare Atom opened up against GR. If you don't remember who GR is, that's reasonable.
We're not going to explain either.
No, they're the Eastern Russian mixed team.
They're the Eastern Russian team. We were like, oh, if there's learned anything from... I think I said if I've learned anything from RMRs is that 5 unknown Russians are going to cause that. They did not cause any damage.
They did. They caused.
They did not cause any damage.
damage.
Like, you know, when like there's all this build. You ever watch Robot Wars?
Yes.
I think there's like battle bots in the US
I've watched
as well.
Plenty of battle bots.
And there's like some robot that comes in and it looks really scary, and then it like accidentally flips itself over within 5 seconds. That was GR. It's like, oh, we don't know what to expect from this wild card. Oh no, it's killed itself.
On the other side of the other bit, we had FlyQuest versus Talon.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of this Talon lineup, reasonable. We talked about it last week. The people you may know on it are Azur, famed IGL from Renegades lineups of a million years, and MHL, who's a former Mao's Academy player.
Yeah, he was also hanging around the Polish scene for a while. He's a decent player. And
they won against FlyQuest.
I'd like to say I don't think you should be able to have 2 players whose names rhyme. I think one of them should be forced to change.
Yeah, there is Azur and Hazard.
Because especially if you have like a French commentator, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Azur and Azad. You have no chance. They don't pronounce H's. You're in trouble.
So I will note Netic was the one of the Australians for Talon, and he's kind of come out of absolutely nowhere. He was playing for Rooster before this, which we've kind of seen every once in a while, and he was very good against FlyQuest, and he was halfway decent against Rare Atom in their 2-0 loss.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think
really
I said last week, if Talon are to do well, it's probably off the back of MHL, and he has been pretty solid. I mean, even in the loss against Rare Atom, he was almost definitely the best player. Like, basically no argument behind that. He was pretty good in the... I mean, he wasn't the reason they beat FlyQuest, as you mentioned, Netic. I think one of the other Australians did really well as well.
Addict.
But Addict, yeah. And then, but like MHL was clearly the best player in the second game against Rare Atom, where they sort of fell off. But they're still in with a shout. I mean, they play Lin Vision. Well, they've played Lin Vision by the time you're hearing this podcast.
Yeah.
It's 7 in the morning for me.
Let's say about 10 hours from now they play Lin Vision, which is...
Look, I love Counter-Strike. I will not be up at 7 a.m. to watch Talon versus Lin Vision. I love Counter-Strike. I'm not waking up for that.
No, but I will be watching the other lower bracket match, which is Drilla's FlyQuest, which starts
that will be at 4 a.m. for me.
That's 11 p.m. my time.
I will be cheering for FlyQuest in my dreams. You will not hear me cheer for FlyQuest very often, I'll tell you that much.
But in your dreams tonight, it will.
But tonight, I am a FlyQuest fan.
So, out of the last 4 teams, Talon, Lin Vision, Drillas, and FlyQuest, only one can make the major. If you've been listening to us for any length of time, you probably know that we would like Lin Vision to make the major.
I think Lin Vision versus FlyQuest would be a pretty fair lower final.
Yep.
2 of the probably... Yeah, they're both top 4 teams here.
Yep.
One of them's going to miss out, at least, and that's kind of fine. I just don't want drillers to go through, to be honest.
And as much as I kind of love the idea of Talon making the major because I like Talon stickers, and I've liked PSG Talon in League for a while because they're an interesting team. I don't really care if they make it or not. I guess opposed to Linvision, who have kind of done this for a while and are a fun team to watch.
I get Linvision, another team with strong nicknames. Westmelon. Westmelon is a fantastic. I have no idea what it's supposed to mean. Why is he called Westmelon?
We could so easily make an all nickname team. They make it all NBA teams. We could make an all nickname team of the Asian RMR so easily.
Yeah, it's
we would actually have to argue about things. We wouldn't be trying to just randomly fill spots.
Linvision have 4 potential. They've got a player called Afufu.
If we include subs, we're so easy. It's so easy to do.
I mean, who else have you got?
Waste of ammo.
Waste of ammo. I mean, he's not here.
Well, I said he's a sub. He's a sub.
Oh, is he? He's a sub.
I believe he's the official sub for Alter Ego.
Amazing. That's amazing. I didn't even know that. I was so sad Waste of Ammo wasn't here.
He parted ways. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so sad.
Okay.
But you've got Child King Westmelon. Somebody. I've always liked Techno 4K, but it's not quite as...
I was thinking 910. Kind of like 910.
Mediocrity on GR.
Mediocrity is good.
Mediocrity is really good. Amelia QAQ. No idea what it means. I quite like flying as well.
No, Addict.
Addict is pretty good.
Addict's good.
The thing about flying that I like is that he's in the process of doing it. He's not flown. He's not a flyer. He is flying. He's currently flying.
He's actively doing it.
It's not like he's called pilot. He's called or bird. He's called flying.
Not flew.
Yeah, he could be called flew. But no, he's currently flying.
He's actively in the air.
I think there's also a player called Running, isn't there? There is on GR. There's a player called Running. You have running and flying.
If Asia does not win the major, which I do not expect them to win the major, they have at the very least won the all-name team.
They've got. It's a real shame you can't have GR and Linvision qualify, so I can have running and flying stickers.
Where's swimming? We just need one more.
We got the triathlon. They've got a player called Running. That's amazing. He's in the same RMR as flying. What are the chances?
I love it. I love it so much. Before we move on, we're going to talk about all the RMRs today because or most of the RMRs today. We're not going to talk about Europe B. It will start after our next recording, so we'll talk about that then. Before we get into America, though, I just want to note I have looked up where Captain Mo is right now.
Oh yeah,
he is playing on a Chinese team called Steel Helmet. He is playing with Didi, who was on the Tyloo team.
He's on Tyloo, yeah,
and 3 other random Chinese players who I've never heard of. The average age on this team is 31.4.
Amazing. How have you not heard of them? They're all veterans. Let's have a look.
Zhao Shiji, AE, and 18YM.
Oh, I remember Zhao Sage. I've heard of Zhao Sage. Who did he play for? This is completely off topic.
He played for Invictus and 5 Power.
I think I've seen 5 Power play. I think I've seen them play. I have a feeling.
Oh, goodness. Oh, Dobu played for that team too. Great. Excellent.
Fantastic.
The name 18YM, excellent. He's 30.
Yeah. Means nothing. 18YM means absolutely nothing.
AE, just, a good 2-letter name.
Yeah. Again, could mean anything. But that's one of the weakest names I've ever seen. But they do have Captain Mo, which is, again, one of the greatest names in Counter-Strike.
All right, let's go talk about the America's RMR. So we've gotten through 2 rounds of matches already in group play. This was all done via Swiss, if I am not mistaken.
It is. It's Swiss, but there's 7 places.
Yeah, so it'll be Swiss and then a 7th place decider match between.
Which is, I have to say, is utter woke nonsense.
I would like if we just, gave this region an extra spot because it made sense for the qualification.
Well, no, they should have 4 spots, but that's not really the point.
Or one more.
There should be more spots for Asia.
That's fine. One more, one less. Just make it even. Why do we have 7? 7 is such a stupid fucking number.
Yeah, 7's a bit weird.
All right. Opening matches. Wildcard beat Liquid. Let's start there.
You sort of laugh. Wildcard are legit. Wildcard are actually just legit. Like, they're just actually a good team.
Yeah, this is the
this isn't an overreaction to them beating Liquid and Pain in best of ones. I watched them at ESL Challenger as well. They're like legitimately decent. They're just actually quite good.
This is the team with Fozy and Susp, who are both Swedish, and then Sonic, who's South African, Stanislaw and JBA, who people had been saying for a while that JBA was like the next big American player, and he kind of got a little bit of a shot, but not really. And this is his like first real kind of shot on this wildcard roster, and he's been decent. I wouldn't say he's been the next great American savior, but he's been decent.
Yeah. They're still in that sort of Stanislaw honeymoon phase that he has on every team, where he's like Stanislaw was like a great in-game leader for a year, and then like people start hating him. That's how it always feels to me. Like every team he's on, like he's really good at first as an in-game leader because he's actually like pretty solid fragger. He gets players to play for him, but then he just seems to fall out with everybody after that, and everyone starts hating him. That's how it's always felt to me. But you give him a team like this where everyone's got a chip on their shoulder, they're dangerous. Wildcard are legitimately dangerous. I mean, they're 2-0 and they've played maybe 2 of the best teams in the RMR on paper.
Next match was Furia Legacy. Now, if you haven't watched our video that we plugged at the beginning, you should, because we put all the Brazilian teams into one tier called Brazil.
And shrugged our shoulders.
Because how are you supposed to guess anything? Because exactly right here, how was I supposed to guess Legacy Furia going to double overtime and Legacy winning 19-17?
So Legacy were really, really good at the latest ESL Challenger. I say really, really good. They weren't that good, but they man for man, this team's actually pretty solid. Dumao and Lato, there is a reason they used to be. Dumao, Lato, Bartin used to be the core of Godsent when Godsent were like Brazilian, in the top 20.
And also had Taco.
Yeah, and then they threw it all away to sign Cold Zero.
Yeah.
I think they had Try at that point as well. Like, this team was like legitimately good, and then they just signed Cold Zero and bombed. But these players are really... Dumao is amazing. He should not be on this team. The fact that Dumao has fallen as far as Legacy is a real mistake for the Brazilian team.
You're thinking double 0-0 Nation. You're not thinking about Godsent.
I think it used to be Godsent before.
Oh,
sorry, yeah.
Never on Godsent.
Okay, I think Godsent went to 0-0 Nation and then they.
That is correct. That is true.
Sorry, yeah, but Dumao should not be on a team like Legacy. No. And that's no slight to Legacy. It's like there is 4 teams.
5.
I think he improves most Brazilian teams, if not all Brazilian teams. Like he maybe doesn't get on Furia. He probably improves everyone else.
There are
He's
5
really good.
Very worthwhile, very decent teams in Brazil.
Yeah.
And he improves all of them except for Legacy because he's already on Legacy.
Yeah, and I think Legacy are probably like the 4th best team in Brazil just because they have him and Lato. Him and Lato are a genuinely good duo. Bartin's kind of fallen off. Nekiz I don't rate at all.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember who the other player on this team is.
It is
Sadzin. Yeah, Sadzin. Yeah, mediocre.
All right, next
I
match.
believe Sadzin's the AWPer, but like he's kind of bad. He's fine.
Next match, Pain beat Nouns 13-5.
Yeah, expected.
Only one thing about this game: Nouns will continue to lose until Rush shaves the mustache off. It's terrible.
What are you saying?
Have you seen Rush's mustache?
What are you saying about mustaches?
Neither of us have a mustache.
Well, only because I haven't shaved. I do normally. It's November. It's Movember. It's fine.
I understand, but I don't know, man.
No, it's perfectly reasonable.
It's a thing. Complexity beat Bestia in the most expected result. And I do say expected because this one actually was expected.
Look, I never know what to expect out of Complexity. You could show me any Complexity result. I mean, yeah, that's what I expected. It could be anything. They're like wildly unpredictable. They can beat any team in the world 2-0 and then lose to any team in the world 0-2 the next week, and you're never surprised at either.
All right. Next game, M80 against Boss. I will note here, you probably haven't heard of Boss at all in a long time because they've completely switched. This is the former Timberman lineup. No, this is the wild card team.
Yeah.
Before they signed the Stanislaw roster, I'm pretty sure Boss was. I think this was this, and then they flipped. This was a Detonate roster for a while. They're a decent roster. They're the only roster in all of the RMRs that are not a salaried roster or
Okay.
like an org
Oh
roster.
yes, yeah.
They're on their own.
I will say Fruit Cup X as well. A good name.
Good name. They beat M80, who were supposed to be good.
Bit of a terrible showing for M80 as well. Like, it wasn't particularly close, and like a couple of their stars just didn't show. I mean, Lake was still okay, but they kind of just didn't show up other than that.
Yeah. Let's breeze through these last three because I don't think they matter a huge amount. 9Z beat Red Canids. 9Z have always been a good team.
Yeah, really good.
They may make the major. There's 7 slots. There's a lot of slots. Imperial beat Case, which is quite expected, I'd be willing to say.
Yeah, Case are pretty bad. I believe it's Casse.
I was gonna say I think it's Casse, but I went with
because it's Casemiro, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's owned by Casemiro.
I think it is. And then MIBR beat Crew, who I literally did not know had a Counter-Strike team.
Also owned by a footballer, is it? Or
yeah.
ex-footballer, is it? It's Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, I know they have a Valorant team.
Yeah, they're good in Valorant as well.
They are very good in Valorant. All right, second set of matches happened. 9Z beat Legacy 13-3, which was big for 9Z.
That's a big, yeah. I mean, that's a good. Like I say, we just talked about how dangerous Legacy can be. 9Z just
9Z
they are just a good team.
Yeah,
like, they have like peaks and troughs like any team do, but their like base level is pretty good. And
I also like to remind people that this 9Z team has moved away from the like purely Argentinian bit.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been mostly Uruguayan.
They had Try for a while, and I thought they had Muda as well. But
Max and DGT are Uruguayan.
That's a good point. They added Martinez from Movistar Riders, which is now Movistar Koi, I think.
Yeah. Shame, really.
But hey, if he's gonna go show up here, hey, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the 9Z team. The reason I think that they'll always be underrated is that none of their players speak English, and they don't go to that many events. So when they do well, people are surprised, and then they just kind of forget they exist, and they don't show up anywhere. But like individually as well, Max and DGT have always been good. They're low kit. The amount of teams they can go to is so limited because I think they only speak Spanish.
Yeah, there's not that many Spanish-speaking teams.
Yeah,
because
and they don't speak Portuguese, I don't think, so they don't go to Brazilian teams.
The only other teams are like Crew, Bestia, and I guess Movistar Rider, Koi, whatever they're called this week. And I don't know if any of those are an upgrade over 9Z.
No, I don't think they are. I think I think that's kind of 9Z's problem. Kind of those players' problem is they'll never actually. It's both things. These players will never get higher than 9Z because of the language barrier, and 9Z will never get better because they can only sign Spanish-speaking players. But then Eternal Fire were 8th in the world, 6th in the world, so
they're getting their shit together.
Yeah, I mean this team's always solid.
9Z have always done damage at majors.
I don't know about always. They've always got the ability to beat good teams, and they're currently 2-0. This might look very stupid if they go 2-3. But.
Yeah, but hey, Bestia beat Nouns. Nouns just don't look good this event.
No, Nouns haven't looked good for a while though, have they?
But let's talk about Wildcard again because they win and then win and beat Pain. So they've beaten Liquid and they've beaten Pain.
Yeah,
two of the teams that you and I ahead of schedule would have said these teams will be making the major without question.
They have beaten a pint of Guinness, Liquid Pain. I don't like Guinness. It's not very nice.
Okay.
Have you ever had Guinness? It's not nice. I thought about like saying Tabasco, but that seems a bit obvious. Whereas Guinness brings me actual pain.
I don't mind Guinness. fine with Guinness.
It's horrible. Yeah, no, like that's what I mean. Like they've beaten two really solid teams. Okay, they're best of ones, but they've also beaten teams in other tournaments. They're just kind of decent, to be honest. Like especially by the standards of this tournament. I mean, I don't expect them to go to the major and finish top 8 or anything.
No.
But like,
hey, get out of the RMR.
Yeah, like they honestly they should. Like from what I've seen, they really should.
Here's the thing. I really like the new wildcard logo that they got.
It's decent, actually. Yeah, it's not bad.
And I want that as a sticker because I think clown stickers are a sick idea.
Yeah,
like jester stickers. All right, Furia beat Kase. Complexity beat Boss in overtime. M80 beat Red Canids. Imperial lost to MIBR, and Liquid beat Crew 13-2 to end the day off.
Have Red Canids ever won a game?
I
mean, they obviously must have done, but I've never seen them do anything other than go out last.
Do you know what this lineup is?
As a rule, no.
Venom Zera.
David
Deuce, Nithon, Cold Zera, and Henny.
Oh, hang on a second. I didn't realize Henny was on there. I really apologise for talking so much shit. I'm back on board. I love Henny. Like Henny, I think Henny is one of the most underrated players in Counter-Strike history. He's so good.
So I believe Nithon is on loan from Kase.
No clue.
No, because I just saw there was some shit about conflict of interest. You know all the conflict of interest come out. The other one was a Liege owning shares in Liquid still, which we all already
If he's on loan, he's been on loan for a while.
I think I saw Nithon was on loan. But...
No, so he was last on Pakatar. He played for a team called Selva for a few weeks, but he's been on Red Canid since October last year.
I'm just pulling up the thing. Nizin, sorry. Different guy. Pain and Case and Kase. Sorry, different guy. Nizin, not Nithon.
Yeah.
Alright. Where does
Nithon, however, isn't very good, I can tell you that much.
Where does this leave us? The 2-0 teams are 9Z, MIBR, Complexity, and Wildcard. And then
which are like kind of expected, but also you might think Liquid and Fury will be there, but none of those teams are bad.
Liquid, Furia, Pain, Imperial, Boss, Bestia, M80, Legacy are all your 1-on-1 teams.
Yep.
And then Red Canids, Nouns, Case, and Crew are all the...
So the O2 teams are all pretty bad. The 2-0 teams are all pretty good. You'd expect Liquid and Fury will be 2-1 this time tomorrow, or this time as you're hearing this. Mm-hmm. Liquid play Bestia, Furia play Boss. You're not expecting them to lose either of those. They'll be 2-1, and then they'll probably coast through 3-1. I think, who are the 2-0 games? 9Z play Wildcard. I think 9Z will probably muscle through, but like Wildcard are decent.
Could win that.
It'll be like it'll be a gentleman's 2-0, I think.
Okay. The other one is
MIBR Complexity.
Complexity, just
kind of like low-key a banger, yeah.
I'm looking at the Pain Imperial game. I kind of like the thought of that. Pain Imperial.
Pain Imperial's a nice one. I mean, the thing is, if I see like Pain Imperial or Pain versus MIBR in a normal event, I'm a bit annoyed. If I see it here, I'm like, okay, there's a lot at stake. It's not just like who goes out 8th.
If you're gonna if you're playing only against American teams or like North American, South American teams, then I'm in for the inter-regional matches there.
Yeah.
But when we're in the major, I don't give a shit about seeing it.
Yeah, not like there are some inter-regional matches I don't mind, but like I don't want to watch Pain versus MIB. Like you know what I mean? Pain versus Imperial, I'm just not bothered. I think I'd like 9Z to go through. I think
so 7
as much as I don't really like Americans, I think Complexity being there does just make the major better. We should probably talk about the fact there's a rumour that Elige wants to go. I don't know if you've heard this.
I did not hear that.
Apparently, Thorin on his podcast has been saying there's a rumour that Elige is not happy on Complexity and has been courting a lot of the big EU teams and wants to move back to EU.
Nice.
However, he might go through here. But I think the major's better when Complexity are there, in a sense.
Yeah. I agree.
Just because I mean, there's a lot of teams here I'm just sort of like not moved by. I'd like to see Legacy go through because I just think Dumao is such a fun player to watch. I'd like to see M80 go through because Lake for the same reasons.
You know
and
what?
then after that, I'm not really bothered.
I can't take Thornton seriously. I'll explain to you later why.
Okay.
It's nothing bad. It's just a League of Legends thing, and I'm not.
Oh yeah, but I think
I'm not asked to completely explain it
here. He talks a lot more sense in Counter-Strike than he does in League of Legends, from my experience.
Doesn't matter. All right. So teams we expect to go to 9Z Complexity. At this point, MIBR they're 2-0. They have to win. One best of three.
Every team that's 2-0, you kind of expect to go through because they have
card,
3 chances.
Liquid, Furia, and that leaves 1. Is it Pain? Is it Imperial?
I'd like it to be I'd like M80. I think M80.
Could be M80.
Nice.
M80 do have a hard game. They play Legacy, I think. That's a tough game.
Yeah, that is tough. But M80 are a good team, usually. I think their opening game was a bit of a blip. I think they're pretty solid.
Yeah. All right.
There's a world where one of Liquid or Furia don't make it through.
There is. And that would be really sad that would be really sad if Liquid don't make it through because we did make the video saying that Liquid were a very good team, even though on paper it doesn't.
Look like they are, but like, I don't know. Ultimate's kind of scaring me at the moment. Ultimate and Twist, they're kind of scaring me. Twist is like moaning after every game.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, Ultimate saying like, oh, I'm kind of, I'm not feeling as good as I was. I'm like, oh god.
All right, let's get into the last bit, which will be another 7-team thing from the Shanghai Major. So Europe RMR A will finish on release date of this podcast next week. So we'll give our little preview now. We'll talk about it during it next week.
Yeah.
And we'll be on with our way. 7 teams go through. There are more than 7 teams here. The teams here are Na'Vi, Vitality, Mao's, FaZe, Falcons, BetBoom, Fnatic, Gamer Legion, Singal, Sinners, Omega, Eslot, Eklat, Cloud9, Rebels, Saw, and Unity. Let's just start at the top. Na'Vi, Vitality, Mao's, and probably FaZe make it through.
Yeah.
Let's just start there. I feel confident saying those 4 teams will make it.
That's pretty fair. After that, I've got no idea.
The 3 teams after that, Saw, I would say, is a probability.
Yeah.
They're all the way at the bottom of this list for some reason, but I would say that they are a probability. That gives us 5. Gamer Legion always seem to have some kind of sauce.
Yeah, Gamer Legion have some aura for sure.
Though they do have to play Vitality to start.
I know we're dancing around it. There's surely no way Falcons don't get out of this group. They've got like 15 majors. So there's no way they don't get out of this group. Surely.
Say Saw and Gamer Legion make it, okay? At least 1 spot left, okay? So Falcons, are they better than BetBoom? Yes. I'd be willing to say I said that a little quick for what I thought in my head, but I'd be willing to say yes.
If you want to predict a BetBoom game, flip 3 coins and guess how many heads there are.
Okay. So maybe
if you get it right, they'll be good.
Are they better than Fnatic? I'd have to say that.
I've no idea. I have not watched Fnatic in a long time because they've been nowhere near a good tournament that I've bothered to watch. Like
they have Knock now, so maybe they're good.
They have Knock?
Yeah, remember Knock went there after the implosion of Bleed?
I mean, this team should be pretty decent. Like, as much as I rag on Blame F, he is really good at beating bad teams. So who's Fnatic's opening game? Na'Vi, never mind. Never mind. Forget everything.
What about Sangal? They've got X-Floud, who never really showed himself on Eternal Fire.
From what I remember, Sangal have been on a bit of a run recently. Like, they're winning a lot of games.
They are winning a lot of games.
They qualified for ESL Pro League. Yeah, they qualified for ESL Pro League because they beat everyone.
Yeah, they're beating Amiga, Passion, FlyQuest, Heroic. They've beaten FaZe recently.
These are no mugs they're beating.
No, they beat Bleed.
Yeah.
Like
Sangal are kind of they might go under the radar. I don't think they'll actually go under the radar that much. I think people will know. When they look at this, they'll look at the teams who are kind of higher ranked and say, why are they higher ranked? And they'll look at Sangala and go, oh, I see. Sangala are like actually half decent.
But
There's a chance they get out.
Are they a better team than Falcons?
Probably. But it doesn't matter if you're a better team than Falcons. There's just no way there's no way they let Dupree miss a major. They can't do it.
So, do you know who? So Falcons play in the opening round Rebels, which is a team who
have to beat Rebels.
Rebels have done damage before.
They did I think it was it Katowice or something.
Something like that.
They beat FaZe in the opening round or something. Like beating FaZe is like everyone beats FaZe eventually.
Shanghai RMR, Group A. Why is this showing me TSM? Am I looking at the wrong group?
I think so.
No,
if TSM are in it, you're always looking in the wrong place.
No, TSM are in B.
Oh, that's really disappointing.
I agree. Wait, but this says...
They did well at some... It might have been a challenger or something.
This is so messed up. Hold on. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at.
That's the closed qualifier for the RMR. I'm on the Major Sim website that lets you pick stuff.
I see. I just use HLTV for everything. Cause
I have HLTV up, but I want to figure out that if Falcons beat Rebels or something like that, what the thing is. Oh, wait, Falcons don't even play Rebels. What am I talking about? Falcons play Eclat.
So after all that...
Yeah. They should win against Eclat, right?
They should, yeah. I just kind of looked at Eclat a minute ago to see who was on it, and it's
not.
They're a team that you've not heard of. They're probably half decent because they're in the top 50, so they're probably quite dangerous. But it's just they literally have simple on this. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know. My eyes are telling me that they're terrible. When I watch them play, they're not good. When I look at their results, they're not good. But I just can't look past the fact that they have Simple and Magisk. Okay, they have Simple and Magisk.
At the end of the day, Falcons will be in the 7th place decider match. I'm confident in that. They shouldn't be there, but they will be there.
If Falcons are 2-2 or in a 7th place decider match, there's just no world where Magisk doesn't win that game on his own. In my head, there's no way Magisk lets them miss the... he's not going to let them. He's just going to take over. When Vitality were kind of on the ropes to get on Vertigo against Into the Breach, and then Magisk just went, no, we're not losing this game, and they just shit on everyone for 3 rounds in a row. He's just going to do that, surely.
But that was the last time you saw Magisk do that. It was in Paris in 2023.
They've got Simple on it, man. There's no way. They can't possibly they can't possibly not make it out. They can't. They've got Simple. You can't miss the major.
So our team's making the major from this group. Na'Vi, Vitality,
Falcons 3-0.
FaZe, Saw.
Falcons. They're not... Simple can't miss the major. He can't. He can't.
The last team's either Sangal or Fnatic.
It could be Gamer League.
It could be
the thing with the Swiss system is kind of anyone... there's... Because of the way it works, there's never a clean top 8.
No.
There's never a clean top. There's always somebody you don't expect.
Especially when you're only looking for top 7.
Well, quite. But, there's enough teams here who are half decent. Sangal, Sinners, Namiga, they're all kind of, fine. I mean, Namiga, according to Valve, are the 19th best team in the world. I don't know if that's true. But, Russian-speaking team, RMR, you don't really know them very well, so they're hard to study. They're about 30th in the world. Perfect storm. So that's all I'm saying is, look, if you were looking at any of those teams in the bottom half of the RMR for your opening game, they are one that you want to miss. They're playing Mouse.
Oh God, they are playing Mouse.
They're playing Mouse. I'm just saying that's not an easy opening game for Mouse.
Nope.
There is a world where pretty much any of these teams get out. I think it's a lot less likely for Rebels and Unity. Probably Cloud9 as well. I think Cloud9 are kind of just arse. But Sangal, Sinners, Namiga, these teams are here for a reason, and it's not just to make up the number. These are decent teams. The Swiss system gives you opportunities where you only have to win one game that you're not supposed to, and you're in a pretty good spot to qualify.
I mean,
I don't think it's going to be a clean top 7 that you expect.
just Oscar's just going to keep going, man. That's all it is.
Look, we're automatically putting FaZe in there. Now, I know everything I said about Falcons applies doubly for FaZe. There's no way Carrigan misses the major.
No, but I feel the aura there is a bit more.
Yes, but I also feel like when teams are declining and getting worse, it's usually like a slow decline, and then all of a sudden there's just this horror show. It happened to Spirit, where they went out last in Cologne without winning a map. They were getting slightly worse, and it was like, oh, Spirit, okay, and then they just plummet. It happened to Liquid as well when they didn't make the major last time, where you're like, oh, this team's not as good as it should be, and they're not getting better, and then all of a sudden it's like, terrible result. I feel like FaZe have been slowly getting worse for a while, and everyone's kind of ignoring it. I just feel like there's a chance they don't make it through. And I know everything I said about Falcons also applies to FaZe. But Falcons have Simple, and he's the greatest ever, and I just... Do you believe in magic, Logan? Because I do.
I don't know if I believe in Falcons magic, man.
I believe in magic. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm constantly talking about Falcons doing better than they are. It's like I had a dream they won a tournament.
Remember that. All right. Well, that's gonna be.
Maybe it's the major.
That's gonna be it for us this week.
There's one more thing we should talk about.
Oh, there is. What are we
f0rest retired.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
f0rest is legitimately one of the true greats in Counter-Strike. The first player who. To me, the first player who was like the best in the world. I know people will say it was Get Right. To me, it was f0rest. He's just mechanically better. I think the fact that f0rest stayed at a higher level for a lot longer than Get Right was proof that f0rest was the better player.
So it came out in that article that f0rest still had offers from different roles, from different teams, and you just could never get it to work out with how much he wanted versus what they were willing to give him and stuff, and what traveling stuff he wanted to do. But teams made inquiries about him recently.
NIP would not be worse with a 36-year-old f0rest on their team.
NIP would be better with a 36-year-old f0rest on their team.
That's kind of what I'm insinuating. They wouldn't be worse with f0rest on that team. And that's testament to how bad NIP are without f0rest, and how good f0rest has been, and it's kind of he's still kind of decent. Do you remember the end of Pasha Bicep's career? No, nobody does, because he was awful. He was so bad. I wiped it from memory. Terrible. The end of their careers, some of these players, Taz was terrible at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Get Right was awful at the end of his career. f0rest is retiring older than most of these players. He's still decent.
Think of the Dignitas roster that Get Right and f0rest played on. f0rest was great up until that roster just stopped. There was just no one around f0rest.
f0rest is always maintained a pretty decent level. He's not a world beater anymore. But then the game's evolved.
He is the prototype for Crims.
Yeah,
that's what he.
Crims is actually quite similar in that Crims has actually maintained. Again, he's not as good probably as he was at his peak, but he's actually maintained a pretty good level for a long time, which is proof that they're mechanically sound, because I think Get Right was better than bad players, and he was smarter than bad players, but once the game evolved, he just couldn't live mechanically. Whereas f0rest was always mechanically gifted, and I think he has aged better because he actually aimed at the head. Get Right didn't. f0rest was one of on the Mount Rushmore of Counter-Strike. f0rest is the first head on there. He's the first head on there. Yeah. Frustratingly, there's a lot of Swedes in contention for Mount Rushmore.
There are a lot of Swedes.
I think Olof Meister would be up there.
Yeah, that was the other person in my head.
I think you obviously have Simple.
I think Kenny's on there.
I guess if by Mount Rushmore, it's the early founders, right? So it probably is.
It's Kenny because there's no one else.
Olof, f0rest, Kenny.
No one else has had the game patched or adjusted because of the way that they play.
Disagree. Body.
Okay, yes, but that was one specific wall bang on a map. Kenny got the entire game changed because how he played with the AUG.
My argument for this is always that Simple was more dominant than Kenny with the nerfed version of the gun. Imagine,
but it's
imagine,
Mount Rushmore. It's Mount Rushmore.
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
but
who's the best player.
Imagine what Simple would do with the unnerfed AWP. Imagine what Monacy would do with the unnerfed. Can you imagine? Anyway, yeah, Kenny S probably is on the Mount Rushmore. I think Olaf is, but f0rest is the first
f0rest
head
is
on
the
there.
first person on there.
And his head would look really good carved in stone. He's got a good
Just
head.
the beard.
Yeah,
like
he's just
the
got a good head.
Big Viking thing. All right, that's where we're going to be done for the day. We will be back next week. We'll talk about Group B of Europe. We'll talk about what happened in Group A of Europe and what happened in Group A of America. By Group A, I mean the only group in America. And we will almost know who is suiting up for the major a week after that.
Yep.
This episode was produced by Mac. It was edited by Mac. James Serpa does all of our graphics. And we will be back next week. You can find us on Twitter at Logan Rapp, at AZESK, and at ReedTLDR.